setup who dis. New setup who dis. My apologies, but it does look a little bit different today. I think everything is working. I hope so. If you guys can't hear me, if something looks off, tell me. Let me know. I have been hard at work this weekend getting the studio changed up a little bit. You can't really see the changes as of right now because it's only the desk and the setup and the lights and the camera and all the tech stuff that you don't see on stream. However, the background will be changing shortly as well. I sound a bit far from the mic. That's possible. I moved it a little bit, so hopefully it sounds a little bit better now, and I could probably even bring it even in a little bit closer. Oh, it's in the shot, now you can see it. Hopefully that sounds better. We're fixing some things. And I realized it this morning too at like 11. I said to myself, oh crap. There's a couple of things that I did not do for the stream yet. Time just got away from me yesterday. Kids had some friends over for Super Bowl Sunday. So they did that for a little bit. So I was busy cleaning the house, the entirety of the house, top to bottom. Cooking yesterday. Made quite a bit. Did a new queso recipe. It's delicious, by the way, in case you were wondering. New queso recipe. Some bacon wrapped cocktails. What's wrong with the mic? The mic is off. What sounds off about the mic right now? What sounds off about the mic right now? It's being picked up. I can see that. And it's being picked up by the correct mic. Oh, no, it's not. Hold on. Huh. How does that sound? How does that sound? That probably sounds way better if I had to guess because the wrong microphone was being picked up. What was being picked up? Does it sound better now? That's perfect now? Yeah. That's what it was. That's what it was. See, this is why I trust the nation to help me out with my technical issues. Should be good. Perfect. I can probably even move it a little bit away now. What was I think I know what was being picked up. Okay. One of the new cameras I have set up for something that's going to be coming down the pipeline very soon was picking it up. OEG becoming a member for the 54th month. Cheers to the official start of the offseason. And where would Kenneth Walker III in the running back pecking order for 26? Much appreciation, Headliners. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go over Super Bowl 60. We're going to talk about walking into free agency today. A way too early 2026 outlook. So lots of things that we're going to be going into today. What was on the Richardson Super Bowl food menu? We had ham sliders. We had a new queso recipe that I tried out, which was delicious, by the way. We had bacon wrapped cocktail weenies. We had some boneless wings. We had biscuits and gravy for breakfast. What else did we have? I'm missing something. Guacamole. We had guacamole. I think that's it. I think that's everything. But I made everything like in the morning, and then we just like snacked as the day went on. Did I let the diet slip? Really, the thing for me when it comes to the diet right now is just about portion control. And just like eating for a certain hour of the day and not eating when I first wake up and then eating all the way until I go to bed. So I didn't let the diet slip because I kept an eye on how much I was eating. I probably ate a little bit too much. I did have some ice cream last night. Took the kids out to Dairy Queen real quick, grabbed some ice cream, came back home.
Did the chef daughter make some of the food? No, because she had a friend over. So she didn't make any of the food, but she did help. She helped with a couple of things, getting it out of the oven and timing it for me. I'll tell you what, I don't hate last night's Super Bowl. I know a lot of people are not a fan of how the Super Bowl went. I know a lot of people are not a fan of defensive matchups. Um, I loved it. I love the defensive matchup because I think what happens sometimes, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. If you thought the Super Bowl was boring, you thought the Super Bowl was boring. I get it. I'm talking about like some of the masses that post on X, Facebook, Instagram, social media, things like that, that just completely tear apart the game. I think sometimes what we get is when a more casual viewers, I had the Seahawks behind the Rams and the 49ers. I don't we never put out like any rankings for teams. I'd be willing to bet that a majority of the people in here would probably say we weren't sleeping on Seattle. I was a big fan of the Kubiak. Now I have to stop because Mateo's in here telling me how I was sleeping on the Seahawks and blah. I don't even know what you're talking about, Mateo, because I thought Clint Kubiak was an amazing hire. I thought I was all in on Kenneth Walker. I thought Kenneth Walker was going to have a really solid season. Got me there. Sam Darnold, I was apprehensive a little bit of Sam Darnold because of what was going on about just how he finished last season with the Vikings. Big fan of JSN. I was a huge fan of JSN coming out in the draft. I don't know if you're going to find too many people that were more excited about JSN than I was. And Mike McDonald, I have done nothing but be an avid Mike McDonald supporter because he was the defensive coordinator at Michigan. He comes from the Harbaugh line, which obviously I'm a fan of the Harbaughs. I don't know how I was. I don't know how I would. I don't think I ranked Seattle behind San Francisco. I don't know how I did that. For the Rams, if anything, I was more apprehensive about the Rams because of Matthew Stafford's back. I probably wasn't high enough on the Rams this year because Matthew Stafford was dealing with a back injury at the beginning of the season, and he ended up being all right, and he wins the MVP award. But if a Rams fan came in here and told me like I was missing on the Rams, I would believe that way more than I would believe that I missed on Seattle, for sure. Big Seattle fan. Big Seattle fan. Mike McDonald's an absolute genius. Absolute genius. I think that end up going down as a better hire than Pete Carroll, and that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. Mike McDonald is a genius when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, and he did some great stuff just as a overall coach. K. Scott becoming a member for the 44th month. Happy New Year to the Lords of Headliner Nation and to all my fellow headliners. Headliner for life. Forehead kisses for everyone. K. Scott out here just the Oprah of forehead kisses. But, going back to the game last night, I'll recap the Super Bowl for you. Jesse with a $5 donation, which showed up on the stream, by the way. Jesse with a $5 donation. Hot garbage, except for KW3 and Myers. Pat's defense belonged. Offense did not. Commercials weren't great. And HTS was mid. I'm okay with the defensive matchup because I think from a perspective, I watch football differently than what some other people watch football. And that's okay. I'm not knocking anybody for how they watch football. I have to personally watch football differently because it's my job. I'm also used to watching football differently because I watch it from a much more analytical game flow type of stance than what a lot of other people do. A lot of people, when they watch football, they're watching it to have fun and they're watching it to enjoy the game and be excited and to root for their favorite team. When I watch football, I'm dissecting it from a sense of the very ground level of what makes an offense, what makes a defense, what plays are being called, how are they setting up a play. There'll be times where I'm watching the game and you can ask the people that I watch it with, like my son, my dad, other people who I typically watch football with, they would say that there will be a lot of times when the ball is snapped, I will make the comment right away, oh, beautiful play call. Because as soon as the ball is snapped, I already see what's happening. And I'm like, oh, this is what's happening right now. So I watch football from a very different perspective than what a lot of people do. And that's okay. Again, I'm not looking down on how anybody watches football. I'm just explaining the difference. So when I watched football yesterday, I'm watching an absolute masterclass when it comes to defensive play calling. And when it comes to Mike McDonald and how he's disguising his defense to blitz a nickel corner through the A gap, which is not something that you see often. And Chris Collinsworth even said it last night that that's probably not something that Drake May is very used to. And because he's not used to it and because his offensive line is not blocking well, he's not picking up on some of the things that need to be picked up on. So when I watched the Super Bowl last night, I'm watching a guy that is a great defensive-minded head coach and a great defensive play caller go toe-to-toe with a guy that, yeah, has sucked as a head coach, but you could safely say one of the better offensive coordinators probably in football. Josh McDaniels knows what he's doing when it comes to developing an offense and play calling. And they didn't look great last night, but that's because Mike McDonald and the Seattle defense were that much better than Josh McDaniels and the offense for New England. And that's a testament to how good not only Seattle is, but how good of a coach Mike McDonald is. So the unclear ambiguity says, still don't know why McDaniels got assistant coach of the year. It's because he's a good coach. He's a good offensive coordinator. And New England was great on offense this season. And you could argue that they didn't play anybody, and you could argue that they had a weak schedule that they went up against. Doesn't matter. Still took advantage of it. And Josh McDaniels knew how to do that. So kudos to him for knowing how to do that. I'm looking at it as a really good offensive coordinator and a good offense. Not great, but good offense. Just got outdone by a superior defense. But again, ambiguity, it goes back to the fact that, is New England that bad? No. I just think they played a very good defense. And to say that, well, that's because Seattle's defense is superior to New England's defense. New England's defense is not bad. Christian Gonzalez was great yesterday. He made some absolutely fantastic plays, and honestly, the game probably should have been more out of hand earlier than what it was if it wasn't for him. If it wasn't for him. The problem with New England's offense right now is firmly on the offensive line. When Will Campbell came out, there was an argument that he should probably go to guard. And I had him listed as a tackle. I had him listed as... Did I move him down to the second tackle? Number 3 offensive lineman? I can't remember. But there was talk that he could move to guard. And I think he was solid at left tackle for a majority of the season. But in the playoffs and after his injury late in the year, some of the things showed that we knew could potentially be a problem for Will Campbell. The offensive line, I think, was the biggest issue for New England. Because it doesn't matter who would have played quarterback last night. It could have been Drake May. It could have been Peyton Manning. It could have been Lamar Jackson. It could have been Josh Allen. It could have been Patrick Mahomes. It could have been Tom Brady. It could have been Joe Montana. It could have been anybody. The offensive line last night was just overwhelmed for Seattle. Or for New England, excuse me. It doesn't matter how good Drake May is, was, can be. If you can't block on the offensive line, which they didn't do, the left side of their offensive line with 2 rookies, they just kept getting lost in the sauce all night long. And when your offense isn't doing a good enough job blocking, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is, he's not going to play well. And that's a big reason why. If he had an offensive line that blocked even slightly better, marginally better than what they did, Drake May probably has a better game. The Patriots probably make it closer. Seattle still wins. I don't think it changes the outcome of the game, but I think it's a more competitive game. And they did make some adjustments late in the game where it looked like what an ad. I don't know what you're talking about. They made some adjustments late in the game where it felt like they were going to make it a game. And May made a couple of good throws, and they made some adjustments on offense to give him the time. And then, unfortunately, it was an ad under the video while you were talking. That was weird. YouTube be tripping? I don't know what YouTube's playing on the back end. Cappy, Seattle was clearly the better team, but it doesn't diminish what the Patriots accomplished in what was to be clearly a rebuilding year. The fact that they made it to the dance is nothing short of remarkable. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't want to diminish. I don't want to diminish what the Patriots did, and I think when you basically sit back and say, hey, the Patriots were really bad last night, you're diminishing what they did this season, when you could sit back and you could say, hey, Seattle was really good last night. Seattle was prepared. They had the perfect game plan. They made the adjustments necessary. They took advantage of the weaknesses of the Patriots. It was just honestly, it was a masterclass in coaching by Mike Macdonald last night. That's my biggest takeaway from the game. That is my biggest takeaway from the game, is that Mike Macdonald is just a fantastic coach. Now they're going to have to replace Clint Kubiak. And I think we'll find out more about the New England Patriots this season, because they'll get a first place schedule. They're going to have a schedule that will be way more difficult than it was this year. And we'll see exactly what they're made of. Do they make the adjustments necessary? I think they move Will Campbell into guard. I think they move Will Campbell into guard. I think they're going to be in the market for a left tackle, whether it be through the draft, whether it be in free agency. Has Clint signed? It's not official yet, but he even made the comment last night that he was really excited to get to Las Vegas. So, by all reports and all indications, he absolutely will be taking that job. The only thing I could see happening is if Seattle jumps in with a huge last-minute offer to try and retain him and he decides to try and run it back, but I really don't think that happens. Aaron Carlson becoming a member for the 44th month. Aaron, appreciate you being a member for so long. Thank you. So, yeah, New England's going to have to retool a little bit, and we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. You know, we're going to be walking into free agency here really soon. And I think Kenneth Walker made a huge case to make a whole lot of money this offseason. And the question will be, where does the money come from? Let me see here. 2026. Hold on a second. You have to wonder. You have to wonder. You have to wonder who's going to pay Kenneth Walker. Is it going to be Seattle? Seattle has a big decision to make with Kenneth Walker. Because Zach Charbonnet, there's no telling when he's going to be back from his injury. There's no telling when, not only will he be back, but will he be healthy. And you're going to have to commit an extended contract to Kenneth Walker. So it's not like you can bring Kenneth Walker back for 1 year. I guess you could franchise tag him. I don't know if they're going to do that, though. I don't know if they're going to do that, though. Franchise tags are so weird. I hate franchise tags. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I am not a fan of franchise tags at all. At all. I'm also going to give 5 memberships to the Headliner Nation community. Get 5 new members in here. They could tag him. I don't like franchise tags. And you got to wonder if they even want to spend that type of money. But again, it would bridge the gap. It would bridge the gap. They tag him for 1 year. They give Zach Charbonnet a year to come back, and then they go on from there. As far as free agency overall looks, at the quarterback position, you've got Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, who are going to be kind of your top free agents. Malik Willis is going to find himself in that category as well, believe it or not. The quarterback class of free agency is not great. Not great. From a running back standpoint, Najee Harris is a free agent. Austin Eckler, who's going to be coming off of a major injury. Travis Etienne. Javonte Williams, who has rebuilt a ton of value now that he's had a healthy season. For the most part, he got banged up at the end. Rico Dowdle gets to test free agency again. Hold on, let me bring this over here as I'm talking more to you guys and not looking away. I didn't want to cover up the chat. Najee Harris is coming off of a major injury, though. Austin Eckler is coming off of a major injury. Travis Etienne's had a couple of bounce-back years after a down year. Javonte Williams has rebuilt a lot of value, and Javonte Williams is still only 25 years old. Rico Dowdle gets a chance to test free agency again. Nick Chubb is going to be a free agent. Breece Hall is going to be a free agent. Kenneth Walker is going to be a free agent. J.K. Dobbins is going to be a free agent. Believe it or not, J.K. Dobbins is still only 27 years old. So you've got Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker really is the top free agents available. That's a solid amount of free agent running backs. And then you have guys like Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb, and J.K. Dobbins, who the injury issues are a big concern. And what are you really going to get out of them? All of them probably get shorter deals somewhere. You could franchise tag Kenneth Walker. You could franchise tag Breece Hall. I don't think they're going to be... I don't think Javonte Williams gets franchise tagged, and I do not think Travis Etienne gets franchise tagged. Those are all good. That's a good running back class. Wide receiver free agents. Mike Evans, who was able to come back a little bit healthy. He's 32, but if he doesn't re-sign in Tampa Bay, unless he decides to call it quits, I'm sure Mike Evans gets a contract. Christian Kirk, he had to take a deal in Houston after... Oh, no, he was traded. He was traded by Jacksonville. Sorry. So he spent a year in Houston being traded by Jacksonville. He's only 29. He's got something left. Debo, he's going to be 30 this year. He's going to be a free agent. Diami Brown, Tutu Atwell, Marquise Brown, Juwan Jennings, Khalif Raymond, Rashid Shaheed. I would not be shocked if he doesn't re-sign in Seattle. DeAndre Hopkins, Greg Dortch. Wan'Dale Robinson is an unrestricted free agent. Keenan Allen is a free agent. Brandon Cooks is a free agent. Tyler Lockett is a free agent. Juju's a free agent. George Pickens obviously is a free agent. I think Pickens gets tagged. I think Pickens gets tagged at worst. At worst. Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is a free agent. That's an interesting one. There are a couple of restricted free agents, but nobody with really like a big name there. Travis Kelce is going to need a new contract if he decides that he's going to play another year. David Njoku is a free agent. I can't imagine that he stays in Cleveland. I think he's gone. Dallas Goedert's a free agent. Taysom Hill's a free agent. Tyler Higbee. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is still only 25 years old. The free agent market for tight ends, it's a little on the older side. Kelsey's 36. He's either retiring and staying in Kansas City. Njoku's 29. Goddard's 31. Taysom Hill is 35. Tyler Higbee's 33. Pitts is 25. Zach Ertz is a free agent. He's 35, coming off a major knee injury, though. Foster Moreau, he's 28. Noah Fant's 28. He's going to be a free agent. Cappy with a $10 donation. Cappy, appreciate you. And I'm glad that the donations are finally showing up at the bottom of the screen. A huge thank you for all your contributions this season, Kyle, and for being the best resource for fantasy analysis. Appreciate you and the rest of the team. Cappy, appreciate you. Thanks for still being here this offseason, and thank you for the dono. STG with a $10 Canada donation. I heard K-Rich loves Taysom Hill. I'm going to go ahead and not just refund your $10, but I'm going to go ahead and add a $10 on top of it just to say F you. I would never have Taysom Hill on this show. No. I would feel like I have to yell at him. Offensive linemen. Braden Smith, Jonah Williams, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, Cam Robinson, Rob Havenstein, Kevin Zeitler, Isaac Simolo, Connor McGovern, Trey Pipkins, Evan Neal. Evan Neal's still only 25. After the switch to guard, he's been a lot better. Believe it or not, Elijah Vera Tucker is a free agent already. TC, I'm going to need you to stop right there. I don't want to put anyone in timeout, but if you keep trying to talk Taysom Hill to Detroit into existence, I'll have to time you out just so you can't put that negativity out there. There definitely could be some Trevor Penning. Although I think the Chargers probably need to try and re-sign him. Tyler Linderbaum, center. He's only 25. There could be some solid offensive linemen available in free agency. On the defensive side of the ball, Trey Hendrickson. I don't know if he's going to get franchise tagged again. Hendrickson's going to be a free agent. He's 31. Khalil Mack's a free agent. He's 34. Trayvon Diggs is interesting. I don't know where he ends up. He's, from what I've heard, not a whole lot of great things being said about Trayvon Diggs right now. Kyle Duggar, Hassan Reddick, Jamal Dean, Joey Bosa is going to be a free agent. He's 30 now. Yetur Gross Matos, he's only 27. Andre Sisco, he's 25. Cam Jordan, he's 36 now, man. AJ Epinesa, he's 27. He's a free agent. So there's some solid. I mean, there's going to be some solid defensive players as well. I think the running backs will be the toast of this year's free agent class. Will be the toast of this year's free agent class. Greg Newsome, he's going to be a free agent, only 25. Market value. So Trey Hendrickson right now has the largest. This is by Spot Track, however you want to pronounce it. I go there for any type of contract information I'm trying to look up. The market value right now that they have for defensive players, Trey Hendrickson is the highest right now with a market value of $25 million. Odefe Awo, 27 years old from the Chargers, is next at 19. Khalil Mack is at 18. Kwity Paye, edge rusher for Indianapolis, only 27. He's at 17 million. Jalen Phillips, Philadelphia just traded for him. He's only 26. His market value sits at 17. Nashawn Wright from Chicago, only 27. Kobe Bryant, Brian Cook, both safeties who are only 26. Like, re-signing a guy like Kobe Bryant, to me, seems like Seattle would be more interested in than paying Kenneth Walker a ton of money on a franchise tag. But we'll see if that ends up being the case. Calais Campbell, 39 years old, man. He's out here doing his thing still. So those are some of the free agent moves. Those are some of the free agents available, or that we're going to have available over the coming months. And when we take a look at what may be in 2026, obviously a lot still has to be shaped this offseason in terms of free agencies, in terms of players that could still end up being released, in terms of the draft, obviously. But in terms, I mean, people are going to start talking about what does 2026 look like for all of these teams. Let's go ahead and walk through it. Let's start in the AFC and the AFC East. For the New England Patriots, I think for them, it's all about the offensive line. I think they're going to need to fix their offensive line. I think defense played well this season. They need to stay healthy. They were having trouble staying healthy at times this season. They need to stay healthy and then redo your offensive line. I also think they need to get Drake May a true wide receiver one. And I don't know where that comes from, and I don't know if that's possible this year, but they need to be exploring options. I would re-sign Stephon Diggs if he wants to stay there. For the Buffalo Bills, for me personally, it's about giving Josh Allen what he needs, and I think he's also in a situation where he needs a top wide receiver. The Keon Coleman experiment was a disaster. I don't think he's the guy, and outside of that, they have a solid run game. Offensive line is solid. I think they need to get him a weapon or two, and the biggest thing is Dalton Kincaid needs to take a step forward. Dalton Kincaid needs to take a step forward. That's going to be the biggest thing for Buffalo. For Miami, it's going to be about establishing a new identity and figuring out what you want that identity to be going forward. Does it include Tua? Does it not include Tua? I think for Miami, you have to recognize one of two things. You either try to win with Tua and you try to figure that out this year, or you say Tua is not the answer. You move on from Tua and you start your rebuild right away, and you understand that it's going to be a tough year. For the New York Jets, you also need to establish an identity, but your identity solely rests at the quarterback position. You need to make a decision there as well, because you haven't been able to figure out the quarterback position for a while now, and you just watched your former number 3 overall pick, Sam Darnold, win a Super Bowl. Justin Fields hasn't been able to get it done. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been able to get it done. Zach Wilson wasn't able to get it done. So do you spend money on Malik Willis? Or do you say to yourself, 2026 is probably going to be another down year? Do you try to trade for Tua? Do you take a quarterback in the draft that you say to yourself, probably not the best candidate because this year's draft class is not great? For the New York Jets, I think you need to commit to Aaron Glenn as well. If Aaron Glenn is not your guy for the future, then you should just fire him right now, because it's not going to be another good season. It's not. Okay, Scott with the $5 dono. Hey, Kyle, did you see the video of Ronnie Lott approaching Roger Craig's home to tell him he made it to the Hall of Fame? I've not seen it, but I will look for it when we get done here. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's the same thing, man. It's about the quarterback position. Like, I could make this quicker. Miami, New York, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Houston to some extent. They're like in the B category when it comes to this. Indianapolis. I would say, okay, let me go back. So these are the teams that are really going to need to figure out what they are doing at the quarterback position. These are the teams that right now they are in just an awful area when it comes to quarterbacks. And it's the New York Jets, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's the Indianapolis Colts. Those are the teams that have no idea what they are doing at the quarterback position. None whatsoever. I'm not including Las Vegas because Las Vegas is going to draft Fernando Mendoza number 1 overall. So that's taken care of. Then you have some teams that are in purgatory when it comes to the quarterback position. And that's the Miami Dolphins with Tua. Is Tua your guy or is he not your guy? And if he's not your guy, are you going to restart the rebuild right now? And oh, by the way, it's not a great year to do that because it's not a great year for the draft and it's not a great year for free agencies. The Cleveland Browns. Are you going to give Deshaun Watson a shot? And even if you do, what does that say about his potential health? You spent so much money on him, you either just need to get rid of him or you need to give him a shot. And if he stays healthy, he's got to be your starting quarterback. If he doesn't stay healthy, if he's released, is it Shedeur Sanders? I think the Houston Texans are in a really weird spot right now. I think Houston is in a really weird spot right now because CJ Stroud has regressed terribly since his rookie year. My boy Rico and I were talking about this. Houston, to me, Houston wins a Super Bowl this year if they had Sam Darnold at quarterback. That's how bad CJ Stroud was. CJ Stroud was worse in the playoffs than Drake May. So Houston needs to figure out, if it's CJ Stroud, what do you need to do to give CJ Stroud the best opportunity to win? And for me, it is still CJ Stroud. You spent a lot of draft capital to move up to get Stroud and Will Anderson both. And because of that, you're probably still locked in with CJ Stroud. But it's a make or break year for him. The Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones was fantastic this year. But he's not going to be this year. He's got an Achilles injury. And we saw how long it took Aaron Rodgers to come back from an Achilles injury. So, do you give Anthony Richardson another shot? Is it Riley Leonard? Do you really, honestly, realistically think Riley Leonard can be your guy? I think you got to give Anthony Richardson another shot. You have to. You spent too much draft capital on him. And to be honest, you've effed it up the entire way. I am not willing to concede the fact that Anthony Richardson hasn't been successful at this point, primarily due to his team. Primarily due to his team. Las Vegas, like I said, they've got it figured out. They're going to take Fernando Mendoza. All of the teams in the NFC East are good. Hurts, Prescott, Jaden Daniels, Jackson Dart. All the teams in the NFC North almost are good. Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit all have their quarterback. Minnesota is the team that finds themselves in the purgatory area. What are you going to get with J.J. McCarthy? You got to give J.J. McCarthy everything. Track his progress closely this offseason. What he's doing, how he's growing, how he's training. Everything J.J. McCarthy does this season, Kevin O'Connell should have an eye on it. Hell, J.J. McCarthy should go stay with O'Connell a couple of times this offseason. They have to commit to J.J. McCarthy. If you want to sign a backup to sit behind him, that's fine. But you need to essentially look at J.J. McCarthy and say, you're the guy. We're going to get an insurance policy because all good teams should have an insurance policy. But you're the guy, and he needs to know that. Now, J.J. McCarthy is also the type of competitor that isn't going to care about that. All the memes of the former Minnesota GM calling Sam Darnold and missing Sam Darnold has made me giggle. Yeah, but here's the thing. You can say that about Sam Darnold, but does Minnesota win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold? I don't think so. Maybe. But I don't think so. The Texans need to spend all the money to protect CJ and get Case Keenum back to advise him. He struggled since Case left. I don't hate either of those things. One of the biggest things I say about younger quarterbacks is you got to protect them. If you're drafting a quarterback and you have a shit offensive line, it's not doing you a whole lot of good to draft a young quarterback. I think Carolina is in quarterback purgatory as well. They're going to have to pick up probably Bryce Young's 5th-year option, but I don't think Carolina is even sold at this point that Bryce Young is their guy. I don't think that they're sold that Bryce Young is their guy. So while Bryce Young is going to get another shot, he's also in a make or break year where he's going to have to take a step forward. Tampa Bay is good. New Orleans is gonna roll with Tyler Shuck. They're gonna roll with him. I wouldn't say that they're in purgatory, but I think Shuck is risky. Atlanta is in a really bad spot right now too. Terrible spot. And I am beyond shocked that Kevin Stefanski said, I'm going to go coach the Atlanta Falcons, because it's the same crap that he dealt with in Cleveland. My hope is that he keeps Kirk Cousins on board and that Kirk Cousins has enough left in the tank to just keep the offense flowing this year. Seattle set at quarterback. The Rams, for at least another year, are set at quarterback with Matthew Stafford, but they need to find his replacement, and they need to find his replacement quick, or they are going to find themselves in a Pittsburgh Steelers type of purgatory. The worst thing the Pittsburgh Steelers have ever done as an organization was not planning for life after Ben Roethlisberger. They screwed that up. San Francisco knows who their quarterback is. Arizona's in purgatory as well. Is it Kyler Murray? I don't know. Way too early predictions. In the AFC East, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East. New England had a great season this year, but they also did benefit a little bit from having an easier schedule, and they're not going to benefit from that next year. Buffalo is going to be moving into a new stadium, and I think Buffalo is a little bit more complete right now, even with the change at head coach, than what New England is. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East next year. For the AFC North, for me, it's between Baltimore and Cincinnati. If Cincinnati can get their defense right, I think Cincinnati will win the AFC North next year. If they can't get their defense right, if they lose Trey Hendrickson, if they don't make upgrades, if they don't better the defense, then they're probably going to be looking at another rough season. I'll go with Baltimore, hopefully staying healthier next year and winning the AFC North. In the AFC South, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. That defense is tremendous. DeMeco Ryans is tremendous. I think Houston overtakes Jacksonville. I think Houston wins the AFC South next year. In the AFC West, this one's going to be tough. I want to say Kansas City bounces back, but I don't know if they do. I don't know when Patrick Mahomes is going to be healthy. I don't know if he will be to begin the season. Travis Kelce could be gone. Marquise Brown could be gone. What do they do to help Patrick Mahomes with pass-catching weapons outside of Xavier Worthy? Do you spend in free agency to bring in a Mike Evans? Personally, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers. And here's why. Because I think Los Angeles, who finished 11-6, they're going to have to replace Jesse Minter, but the Harbaugh lineage has always had great success with defensive coordinators. I think defense will end up being fine next year, The offensive line, for me, is what separated Los Angeles winning this division this year and only being a wild card team. The injuries that they had on the offensive line were terrible. I think Los Angeles gets healthy on the offensive line. They make some moves. They get better. Denver's point differential this year was only plus 90. Was only plus 90 with a really good defense. The offense for Denver only scored 33 more points. Denver only scored 3 more points than the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers to win the AFC West next year. In terms of your wild card teams, how many wild card teams do I have to pick? I have to pick 3 wild card teams because I haven't yet. If I'm picking wild card teams, I will take Baltimore or Cincinnati. Whichever one doesn't win the North, I think Baltimore or Cincinnati, the other one will be a wild card team. I will take Denver to be a wild card team again. And then the last wild card team will come down to 3 teams for me. Either New England, Jacksonville, or Kansas City if they can get it right. That would be the AFC for me. On the NFC side, I think the Giants are going to make the East more competitive. Washington is all about getting Jaden Daniels healthy and keeping him healthy. Dallas is a lot of different things. I am going to say, because I'm going to say that the New York Giants are going to make a run for the NFC East next year. Bold prediction to begin 2026 that the New York Giants will make a run and win the NFC East next year. That they will get the offensive line ready to go. That they will get more out of their offensive line. They have their quarterback now. They'll get their wide receiver 1 back. You have solid weapons on offense to go along with Jackson Dart. Defensively, this past year, the Giants allowed 439 points. Not great, but it definitely could have been worse. I think they will make some changes on the defensive side of the ball. I think John Harbaugh and his experience winning consistently is good for the New York Giants, and I think the New York Giants win the NFC East next year. Lock it in. Clip it, chat. Clip it! The New York Giants, NFC East champions in 2026. I think Philadelphia is in a weird spot. I think Philadelphia has no idea what their identity is. I think they're in disarray. I don't think they know exactly what they're doing. I think the Dallas Cowboys, I think they have a lot to do on the defensive side of the ball. I think Washington's going to have a lot to do on the defensive side of the ball. I think this is going to be a wide open. Do not be shocked if this division is not like the NFC South, where a team that wins it is like 9-8. To the NFC North. I don't want to be a homer here. I don't. The Bears are in a good position, but they need to make some changes on defense. The Packers are in a good position, but I think they need to figure out their identity on offense. And by the way, I did a full NFC North breakdown last week. So I'm not going to go too in depth with the NFC North because if you watched last week, you already heard my take on this. The Minnesota Vikings, they've got some stuff to figure out at the quarterback position. The Detroit Lions. Right now, for me, if I was a gambling man, if J.J. McCarthy plays like a first rounder, if J.J. McCarthy plays like a second rounder, if J.J. McCarthy plays like a third rounder, the Minnesota Vikings win the North next year. Bringing Brian Flores back was huge. They have the weapons that they need on offense. Defensively, they're going to be a very good team, once again, with one of the best defensive coordinators in all of football. I would go with Detroit here, but the problem is we don't know about Kirby Joseph's health. We don't know about Brian Branch's health. We don't know about the offensive line. We don't know if Taylor Decker is coming back. Dan Skipper has officially retired. There's a lot of questions with Detroit. As of right now, I would have to say Minnesota is my current favorite to win the NFC North. Now listen, who out there is going to go watch a show where that person's team, they basically go against them in their division? Come on. This is how I'm showing you all that I am not biased. Okay, so when people look at me and say, Kyle, you're biased, I just picked the Minnesota Vikings way too early to win the NFC North, and I'm a Lions fan. In the NFC South, I think it's going to be Tampa Bay. I think why is my camera getting so dark? It's probably the light in here, a little screwy. As of right now, I would give it to Tampa Bay. Yeah, Carolina made a run, and I think they played well. Atlanta, I think, with a new head coach, if Kirk Cousins can be solid, the problem is for those of you that saw the news about Pierce in Atlanta, absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. A very bright future that he probably just derailed in a weekend. That's a big hit to that offense or that defense. New Orleans, I think they're trying to take the right steps, but I don't think they're close enough yet. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay to win the South. And in the West, I'm going to go with Seattle to win the West again. I'm going to go with Seattle to win the West again. As far as wild cards go, for wild cards, I'm going to go with the Rams. The wild cards between me next year are going to be between the Rams, going to be between San Francisco, and then Green Bay, and then and then the three teams that don't win the NFC North. Right now, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and whichever three teams don't win the NFC North, those are the five teams that I think will be in contention for the NFC wildcard spots. A favorite right now to win the Super Bowl? A favorite right now to win the Super Bowl next year? The easy picks would be Buffalo and Seattle. I think Buffalo and Seattle are the easy picks. I think if you're talking about some dark horse candidates to win the Super Bowl next year, I think you're talking about the Houston Texans and the Los Angeles Chargers from the AFC. If we're talking about dark horse candidates from the NFC to win the Super Bowl, I think you're looking at whoever comes out of the NFC North. Whether it be Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, I would put Minnesota at the top of that list since I already picked them as my way too early favorite to win the NFC North. So I would say the Vikings are going to be up there. But that's who I would look at in terms of dark horse candidates. Houston, the Chargers, and then Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 1 o'clock. I appreciate everyone being here. This is a great show today. We took up an hour easy. An hour easy. It was a fun show. I appreciate everyone being here and being a part of the show. We've got 41 concurrent viewers right now, which is the most that we've had in a while. So let me just say that I am thankful that people showed up today to watch. Because the very first show we did, numbers were super solid. And since then, the numbers have just dropped. Every week they get lower, 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 lower. I think last Thursday when we went live, I think the most people we had was 18. So for those of you that come to every show, thank you very much. For those of you that are subscribers and showed up maybe for the first time today, or don't show up all that often, please continue to show up. Please continue to come back. If for some reason you came across us today and this is your first time watching, or maybe you're newer to the channel and you haven't seen a live show yet, thank you very much for being here. Continue to keep coming back. Nation, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thanks for interacting. Thanks for giving me your thoughts. I'm gonna go keep myself busy for a while. I got some stuff to do here in the studio still. Hey, if everyone can do me a favor, hashtag little swag. Found out that my son, who is wrestling right now, even though he's in middle school, the way wrestling works is that you have wrestle-offs at the beginning of the season. Whoever wins their weight class is varsity. Whoever finishes second is JV. And then you have first reserve, second reserve, third reserve. My son, he wrestled for several months when he was in first grade. And then COVID hit and it got canceled. And he never went back to wrestling. So this is his first time back to wrestling in years. He finished number 2 in his weight class, so he's been the JV wrestler, and we just found out that he's wrestling varsity tonight for the first time. So if you can throw a little hashtag in the chat for me, we found out that my son is wrestling varsity for the first time tonight. We have a really, really good wrestling program at his school. Really good. Undefeated last year, won conference last year. We are 3-1 right now, and he gets an opportunity to move up and help the varsity team get a win tonight. He's excited. I'm excited. He's nervous. I'm nervous. But a little hashtag little swag in the chat to wish him good luck in his match tonight. However he ends up doing, I'll be proud of him. However he ends up doing, he's a 6th grader wrestling varsity tonight. So whatever he does as a 6th grader, I'm A-okay with. He could run into a kid that is really, really good, and he knows that, but he's excited for the opportunity. I don't coach wrestling, no. I only wrestled for 1 year, so I don't coach wrestling, no. Headliner Nation, appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate you being a part of the stream. Appreciate you throwing a little hashtag, little swag in the chat for some good luck tonight. I'll catch y'all on the next episode, though. Okay, stay safe, stay healthy. We've got videos coming out this week still. I'll be live on Thursday. I want you all right back here with me on Thursday to hang out and have a good time. Peace out, Headliner Nation. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners. See y'all later.